Hello Cowboys Nation, welcome to another video, and without further ado, let's get to another round of news from America's team. Cowboys take major step on Mike McCarthy future. If you've followed the Cowboys over the past year, then you're aware that Dallas front office tends to move at a glacial pace, very often to its detriment, and to the detriment of the team. That's been the case with coach Mike McCarthy, who is wrapping up the last year of his contract and will be a full-fledged free agent in just 4 days. While many expected, throughout the year, that McCarthy would be hitting the bricks after this 7-10 disaster, the fight and poise the Cowboys showed to close out the year with a 4-3 mark in their final 7 games, despite a roster awash in injuries, may have earned McCarthy more time in Dallas. The Cowboys have been acting like a team that wants to keep McCarthy. Dallas denied the Bears' request to interview McCarthy for Chicago's open head coaching gig. McCarthy also has interest in the Saints' job, according to reports. The Cowboys may well be lining up to keep him. And in true Cowboys fashion, according to NFL media insider Tom Pelissero, they're just starting negotiations with McCarthy here on Friday, January 10th. Cowboys beginning negotiations. Here's what Pelissero wrote on Twitter, X, ahead of what should be an eventful weekend for the Cowboys, one without a playoff appearance for the first time since 2020, McCarthy's first year in Dallas. After several days of discussions about the 2024 season and the future, Cowboys owner Jerry Jones and coach Mike McCarthy remain open to moving forward together, and the sides are expected to open talks today on a new contract to keep him in Dallas, per sources. There have been no negotiations yet and still are other issues to work through. McCarthy's contract is set to expire Tuesday, giving Dallas a few more days to work out a deal. Otherwise, McCarthy would be free to pursue other opportunities. But Mike McCarthy wants to stay. Despite interest from elsewhere, McCarthy, for his part, has been clear on where he wants to be. After a 49-35 record in the last 3 seasons with the Cowboys, he wants to stay put. Asked if his first goal now that his contract is soon to be up is to stay in Dallas, McCarthy was unequivocal, "Absolutely, I mean, I have a lot invested here. And the Cowboys have a lot invested in me. There is a personal side in all these decisions, and they all point in the right direction. I think anytime you invest your time, energy, your belief, the connection you have, the relationships you have in place here, the understanding of what the organization can do and is willing to do, those are all positive attributes that you take into account. But absolutely, I am a builder. I believe in building programs. I believe in developing young players. So, at the end of the day, it is about winning. You have to have those components in place to get this thing where it needs to be. I think we have a good foundation here." Cowboys fans worry slow Jerry will lose coach Al Harris. The Dallas Cowboys have made themselves look stubborn turn after turn with key decisions spanning over the last year. Starting with extensions for Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb, they held out paying both players coming off career seasons. That created unnecessary drama and distractions heading into a campaign Jerry Jones had labeled "all in" during the 2024 offseason. It seems that trend continues now in their handling of their head coach, as there is no certainty as to what happens with Mike McCarthy. Meanwhile, other teams across the league with or without head coaching vacancies are moving quick to recalibrate for the coming free agency period and NFL draft. That leaves the Cowboys vulnerable to those franchises poaching pieces off their own staff as these talks begin. Now retaining the same coaching staff year to year is just not feasible, with the same being true for a 53-man roster. But the Cowboys lacking urgency could leave them vulnerable to losing Al Harris. Harris has been invaluable since Dallas hired him in 2020 to coach their defensive backs. Under his tutelage, the Cowboys have watched Trayvon Diggs and Darren Bland grow into premier NFL corners. Not only has Harris elevated what was once a significant weakness for the Cowboys, but he has also become one of the most respected and trusted voices on the staff. Losing Harris without having a plan for McCarthy or another coach to come in and help orchestrate this defense would be a significant detriment to the Cowboys. For teams looking to upgrade their defensive coaching staff, Harris is a prime target to accomplish that goal. Right now, there is no indication of the Cowboys changing their plans, meaning Harris and a few others could be on their way out while the team stands by without any verifiable plan of action. Cowboys need to trade for WR after his GM was fired on Thursday. The Dallas Cowboys desperately need to find a viable wide receiver too this offseason. CeeDee Lamb led the team with 101 receptions for 1,194 yards this season. Their next best receiver was speedster Jalen Tolbert, who recorded 49 catches for 610 yards. While that's solid output for Tolbert, that output being second on the team is a huge issue. Dallas must find another solid possession receiver who can find a hole in the zone to get open for Dak Prescott. Luckily for the Cowboys, the Las Vegas Raiders surprisingly fired their general manager, Tom Telesco, on Thursday, meaning much of that roster could be on the trade market in the offseason. Cowboys should look into trading for Jakobi Meyers. The Raiders have completely hit the reset button as an organization, firing their general manager and head coach this week. As a result, their roster could likely look wildly different next season since new people will be coming in with different ideas of how they want to build a team. That could leave a wide receiver like Jakobi Meyers' future with the team uncertain. Meyers has spent the past 2 seasons in Las Vegas. During that time, he has recorded 158 receptions for 1,834 yards and 12 touchdowns. This season, Meyers became the number 1 option at wide receiver after the Raiders traded Davante Adams in Week 7. As the Raiders' number 1 option, Meyers recorded 62 receptions for 754 yards and 3 touchdowns. Given that the Raiders had a rotating quarterback situation for a few weeks this season, those stats are pretty solid. Moreover, the Cowboys would only be paying Meyers $10.5 million next season, which is much cheaper than most good receivers will be looking for in free agency. That said, it would be a total surprise if the Raiders' new regime came in and wanted to get rid of Meyers. Nevertheless, if they did make that decision, pairing Meyers up with Lamb would give the Cowboys a sneaky good wide receiver duo next season.